4 members of parliament, including 1 senator, and our coalition partners won another 3. We won 4 out of 4 in February, and again in May, it's 3 over 3. And that's why today I am dressed in the manner I am, as symbolic of the strong bond of partnership and success that both the broad-based government has been able to bear, both in terms of delivery to the Kenyan people and in terms of victory, coordinated victory in various electoral contests. I think I did mention yesterday that UDA competes everywhere, and UDA wins everywhere. And in consultation and in partnership with our coalition and broad-based partners in the ODM, we therefore also want to dedicate this victory to their partnership, because part of the victories have been largely as a consequence of the support and the coordinated strategies that we've had as parties. But the continued vote of faith that the Kenyan people have continued to extend to President William Ruto, vote of confidence, and his government and the programs, are demonstrable of the impact that the UDA party has and the broad-based government beyond the kind of propaganda, negative ethnicity, bile that we experience in the social media, bile from elected leaders who are expected to have a greater sense of decorum and restraint, leaders who call themselves a bunch of opposition leaders whose only recipe is to incite ethnic violence, ethnic animosity, whip up ethnic emotions, mobilize ethnically. People who only competitive age is when an election is in a corner within their various tribal regions. For instance, our brother Kalonzo Musyoka, you'll only hear of him and his watermelon party when it is in Ukambani, and chest stamps when he has a bit of votes there. Others will only compete when it's in Kisii, and others are chest stamping because they think they enjoy a relative age of ethnic emotions in Olkalau. But I know the Kenyan people are wiser, and we are humbled by the continued vote of faith that is always extended to us by the people of Kenya, in demonstrating that the UDA party, the broad-based government, is their party and coalition of choice, and the fact that we continue every day to do whatever it is to be able to propel the country forward. I think a lot of what you see sometimes, I will have to belabor this, is a campaign incited or excited by hatred by a couple of leaders. I was once, those of you who know me from my student leader days, I endeavor to that extent possible to keep those values of democratic socialism, state interventions to ensure that there is affordable health and good quality health, affordable housing, dignity, which is delivered by the Kenya Kwanza government. Rather than people congratulating William Ruto for this extraordinary feat, a revolution without firing a bullet, they continue to want to return us back to the status quo, as it were. But William Ruto has not only succeeded on the national front, President William Ruto has succeeded even in the international front. His convening power, his authority globally, repositioning Kenyans, including Monica Juma, who probably is one of the highest ranking Kenyans in an international organization or international systems. The convening power of of mobilizing 35 heads of states from all over Africa to come and discuss this destiny of Africa. The cutting edge ideas about using our African capital for African development. Rather than being congratulated for that, I had people calling him all manners of names. You know, I gave you my little background. My little knowledge in Pan-African transformation would hardly locate either Uhuru Kenyatta or his father as in any iota or measure as liberators or Pan-Africanists. So mtu leo anakuambia sijui William Ruto is a puppet, as if the Kenyattas were ever revolutionaries. Then there's no revolutionary who comes to power and takes over half of the country for the benefit of a few, and leaving out sons and daughters of freedom fighters and generations to come in squalor. That's the kind of political and social architecture we have been reorganizing at great commitment and great courage. Or to think that 35 African leaders will just stoop here because somebody is a puppet is showing that rigiji bag of deceit and foolishness bites a lot of people in equal measure, and has turned a lot of us to thinking like him. A relic of colonial legacy was a DC, an auxiliary of hatred. So these are the kind of things that today we come with great courage, because of the great confidence the people of Kenya have extended to the UDA party, to tell you that we will soldier on. We believe the Okalao, by God's grace, will be the last by-election we have to have by losing one of our own. The next election will be the general elections of 2027. And I am confident that we will replace the emotions with performance, the ethnic mobilization with a program and agenda, and we will go back to the people of Kenya to account for every measure of commitment we made and the extent of delivery and strides that have been undertaken. And therefore, I am extremely, extremely energized. I have had a practice to address the media after every by-election, and that's why I postponed my travel to Naivasha this morning, so that I can also have an interactive session with you. You can ask questions about any place that you want, Emurua, Dikirr, any matter that you need further clarification, including contemporary matters. And we as a party are humbled and grateful to the people of Kenya. By the way, a significant number of young people have been showing interest in reporting to polling centers and going to vote. Yesterday, more particularly, we were very keen to see the turnout by young people. It is a statement that young people cannot choose an option that opposition that has a watermelon, a retired disgraced DO, or somebody who was dumping Kenyans in Rivayala can be by any measure a replacement to a government that has demonstrably shown its ability to undertake and surmount all the challenges we've had to face time and again. Kwa hivyo, thank you to the people of Emurua Dikirr. We are humbled by your strong gesture of support. Thank you to the great people and the good people of Poro Ward, and to the great people and the good people of Endo Ward, all the three electoral units where our candidate David Kipsang Keter, Dollar Line, emerged victorious. In Emurua Dikirr, Daniel Lolongjine emerged victorious in the Poro Ward, and Endo and Festus Korir Kirop emerged victorious in Endo Ward in Marakwet East. And for that expression of great confidence. And we want to also thank the party leader and the deputy party leader for the extended hand of support. Maybe in the same vein, also congratulating outside everybody who decided otherwise for hosting a more successful African Forward Summit, co-hosting it with Emmanuel Macron. Want to thank the kind of revolutionary dogma and revolutionary thoughts he's been able to plant in the African systems. You know, when you hear of the Dangote investment, for instance, today Africa produces 10 million barrels of petrol a day. Africa's consumption is 4.5 million barrels of petrol a day. But the African refineries, the Dangote refineries only refine 650,000 barrels a day. We export our oil to other countries. It is refined and brought back. So the idea that Dangote will be setting up his refinery somewhere in East Africa, be it Lamu, is to aggregate Africa's refining of our crude oil explorations is an extraordinary statement of Africa's commitment to a new phase of progress. And I think if we aggregate African capital, we join our markets, we deal with this separation so that we create a pool of common markets and common resources pulled together, then we are on the right track. Yeah. When we use our central bank reserves as capital for our own investment and our own development, I was told by David Ndii, African central banks hold an estimated, is it $45 billion in foreign reserves, yet goes to the IMF annually to ask for $2 billion. So we can capacitate our own African banks, African Development Bank, Afri-Exim Bank, Trade and Development Bank, and other banks and other financial institutions to literally liberate this African continent from manipulation of Western capital and exploitation of neo-imperial, neo-colonial forces or neo-imperialism. So I think that's the philosophy and ideology of our government, and I think Kenyans are reciprocal. Wajua wale watu wanapiga kura hii mashinani ni watu wadogo, na wengi siku moja mlinunukuu vibaya, wengi hawachukui maoni yenu ya Facebook. Msikasirike, mkakasirika sana. As the president says, if you are to rely on social media, you'll think the country is in chaos. I have seen investors coming here and wondering why we are wasting a gem of a country by simply hating on it because we hate the man in leadership. But I think the Kenyan public is extremely wise, and we will emerge victorious. Muta rationalize, sijui tulifanya vizuri, tulifanya hivi. Shauri yenu. Hii election haishindwi na kura milioni moja. Election inashindwa na kura moja. Wanasema 50 plus 1, not 1%. 50 plus 1. We avoided a runoff as UDA and Kenya Kwanza then against the late Raila Odinga with only 59,000 votes. We are very conscious of it. This is a nation of narrow margins. We won the elections with 231,000 votes. Saweka hapo ukijidanganya, sijui imeenda hivi, tutajaribu. We are highly organized. We are extremely prepared. And I think our agenda speaks for itself. So I think I wanted to entertain a couple of questions today so that we have one or two interactions before I can call. Yes, I can see you. From?
Global news. There's a big issue of fuel price increases. It's affecting the common man because there is a claim that the commodities are going to increase the price. It has not even taken even 1 month. What is your take as a government?
As we've said it time and again, there's a global crisis. This global crisis is impacting on everyone. The fuel prices are going up across the board. It is not unique to Kenya. And the scarcity, as much as the bombing has stopped, the blockade through the Strait of Hormuz has not. We are receiving our cargo at a much higher price than the previous months. You see, we have a 1 month staggered delivery of cargo. So what the new products that are coming in, the new cargo that is coming in terms of our fuel, is cargo now that is actually impacted by the blockade. And because of the scarcity, because of the logistic, I think the prices definitely are affected. And yet, because of the G2G, the government to government, our security of supply is secure. Whatever our G2G partners have decided that they will supply to us on a month to month, they have done so with great consistency. But what then these cargoes do, they come with a heavier cost. And that heavier cost has to reflect somewhere. And that's why I think the global partnership of community of nations must assert their moral and power and authority on Israel and the United States to stop this nuisance they are causing the whole world. They are affecting prices. There are other countries that are rationing. Tanzania has had its prices go up for the last 2 months or 3 months. The prices are within the range of price hikes across the region. And therefore, it then has a direct impact. It is not denied. But then this was done also at great cost. There were subsidies of, I think, 20 billion shillings that was given to ensure that we are able to moderate the price hikes. There's been tax reduction. And I think it would have even been worse had the state not intervened effectively to ensure that we keep the price increase quite moderated. In other countries, including the US, the price hikes have been 40% thereabout. And that's, I think, the global average of the price hikes of the fuels across the world. And I'm hoping that we will be more assertive in addressing the root cause of this problem. And the root cause is definitely the United States and Israel. Yes, Nubu.
Yes, when SG, I want to back of their audience.
Yes.
Which is your partner government. Yesterday there was a survey which was released by Dikirr, which ranked the other faction of body that select the government in the ground to be 24% supported by Kenyans. I don't know if this will inform, if this will inform the nature of talks and pact that you are trying to have ahead of the election.
But then we have different surveys. If there's a lady I have zero confidence in, is the lady of Tifa. That lady, a few 2 weeks to the elections, she put me at 6%. And I ended up in the elections with 44. That's a con woman. So they try to stage manage. But Sisi, we have our data. And if I told you what our data says, there's a comfortable lead into the second term. Kalonzo doesn't scare us. Matiang'i doesn't scare us. In fact, Rigiji doesn't even scare himself. The Kenyan, but whenever you poll effectively the national scene, Kenyans think very poorly of Rigiji's leadership. Just do your own poll. You know, Kenyans are tired of a man who vomits venom from dawn to dusk. He sees no evil, he has no evil. He is just lethargic. You know, a conference is going on in this country. He calls Macron, he calls a press conference. Because, you see, when you have wasted an opportunity to elevate yourself, Rigiji looks at the TV and sees Kindiki standing in his place. Like this sulking ex-wife or ex-husband. He gets very angry. And that's why what it informs Rigiji's unparalleled sense of anger and spite. So I think we've gotten used to him. I wish well those who think he can be their president. But I can tell you one thing, he will never be Kenya's president. Never. Not when we're around. Ever. mumsikize, awadanganye, mupige mastori na yeye, labda hapo nyinyi na mtaa yenu na eneo fulani mtampigia, lakini hii nchi ya Kenya Kenya bwana sio wale wa 1963 ati sijui wewe ulizaliwa na Mau. Kila mtu ni mtoto ya Mau kwa ajili ya changamoto za maisha. Wewe umetuhara sisi. Serikali, successive governments have marginalized us, have killed us, have abducted us, have done everything. You think we are not Mau in our own ways, waiting for you? Wewe bwana. Usijaribu. So I think we are fine. So huyo mama is the worst in terms of if there's a con scam, because we also have our data. But they wouldn't be standing here. Just go and do your own arithmetics. How do you poll me at 6% 2 weeks to the elections and I finish with 44? Kwani Mungu ulikuja na ile, ukishaona ile 10 commandments, kuna mawingu yana form, alafu Mungu anaongea, alafu watu wakaenda akapiga. You have to work hard and God to bless you, but I have zero. I am not excited when they say we are in the lead. I'm not excited when they say we are not. We do our work and we focus on the end goal. And I can tell you, the opposition will need something miraculous to be able to beat this broad-based government. Yes. Yeah.
Labda jana nilipokea malalamishi kutoka kwa baadhi ya wananchi wakisema kwamba hawajapokea na kwamba delight hakuwa hapa jana. Labda swala hilo utalizungumzia vipi na ni masuala yapi ambayo mnaangazia kuhakikisha kwamba
mimi ninavyojua wewe kuna taarifa yako na mimi niko na yangu. Sasa sijui ipi ni ya urongo. Baraka mimi nimeambiwa tutashikana tuwe wamoja, lakini katika siasa unajua mimi ni mtu niko na experience zote mbili. Experience ya kushinda na ile experience mzuri ni ya kushindwa, because then from then you become a man of certain or woman of certain gravity. Kushindwa ni ngumu. By the time you collect yourself, it will take time. But I'm hoping that they will stand as one. We had 7 of the candidates yesterday. I'm reliably informed that all the 10 have committed to stand as one, and we'll reach out to Delight and others to continue to bring reconciliation. Elections is not the only measure of leadership. Kama ingekuwa elections peke yake is the only measure of leadership, watu kama kina Rigiji wasingekuwa katika uchaguzi au wasingekuwa viongozi. But election is not the only measure of leadership. There are other factors. So mimi sikuchaguliwa Mombasa, lakini nikajaribu nikafanywa mbunge. Are you aware I'm also a member of parliament of the East African Legislative Assembly? Naenda huko natafuta mambo ya common markets. Niko katika East African Federation, ndio unaniona nimeenda kwa Museveni, nikialikwa na Kagame mimi naenda. Ile kujenga uwiano. Actually we are one continent. We should be one country. That's my view. Alafu mara siku moja nikaambiwa pia nije nijaribu kustia hii chama chaitwa UDA. Nikijievaluate, I think I've done fairly well to just bring stability, to create a home for people who come in here and try to demonstrate ambition, to bring a sense of fairness in the party. Mimi sijaomba mtu pesa, sijaambia mtu anipe pesa kumsaidia kwa uongo. So I'm just trying to bring some kind of credibility. So it's not the only thing. So hata wengine unaweza kujimanuva na ukapata uongozi wa aina nyingine. All of you here are leaders in your own right. Through that camera, all of you are seeing a different storyline. That's leadership in your own right, because kuna mmoja atasema, ataongea juu ya Rigiji, kuna mwingine ataongea juu ya Delight, kuna mwingine ataongea juu ya mafuta. Everybody is a leader in his own right. So na kama hujachaguliwa, we give you an opportunity to come and be part of the grand vision and the bigger picture, and genuinely, to be genuine at my level, the level of the chair, at the level of the deputy party leader and the party leader, and even at the chairman of the electoral board. I am certain we do not go in to disenfranchise anyone. Our elections are free, fair, transparent, and verifiable. And it is election when the margin is narrow. Mimi nakumbuka nilipoambiwa margin yangu na yule amenishinda ni ndogo, nikaanza kutafuta kulikuwa na ulaghai yote, labda waliongeza kura, alafu kuna kuja wale wenzako wale wanataka kukuweka hamu. Bro, mimi nimeona zikijazwa bana na mkono wangu. Wallahi billahi. Ambia bwana kuniambia, mimi najaribu wakanituambia, ujue hapo umedanganywa. So unaendelea na nyingine. So watu yako wanakuja wanakuambia mambo mingi sana. But sometimes unasema siku ile nilisema ile ikachukuliwa kwa vibaya. Watu wakaniambia tumeibiwa. Kaambia kwa nini tunaibiwa sisi kila siku? Kwa nini tusiibe sisi? You know, hiyo joke again misinterpret. It's just a question. Honor, and know there's another day to fight, and that's what you leave.
Independent journalist. I would like to ask concerning the concluded by-election which was done yesterday. We said Ruto performed excellently in the conclusion. Party, what are you doing in order to maintain that position? Because you did you trumped the other parties. You know, when on top, it's easier to go down than rather than staying on top. And the party, what are you doing in your measures in order to maintain that position as the most formidable party in Kenya?
I can tell you that's a very accurate statement. When you're at the top, it's easier to go down. A lot of Arsenal supporters know that. Kwamba Arsenal mara nyingi sana inakuwa hapo ikishuka. Lakini safari naona kama umebakia. Umeponea. Lakini tuko Budapest. Sisi tuko na PSG. Sasa ama unauliza kwa ajili ya Arsenal. So that's in a light touch. You know, Kenyans like Premier League. It doesn't mean we are agents of neo-colonialism. Actually, in all these Premier League clubs, it gives a lot of livelihood to our young Africans. Hata kama anaitwa French, lakini ni Mwafrika tu. Ukimwangalia yule jamaa wa Arsenal, yule Saka. Si Saka. Yeah? So, ni vijana yetu tu wa watu. These are just our young men. Me, I celebrate all of them. That's why when that fumbling goalkeeper Manu, Onana, I used to very sympathize with him. I was like, this young African brother, si asevu kidogo. I never used to ridicule him. These are young guys. Ukiona mtu anashinda Usain Bolt, si sisi tu. Na hizo koitwa Hussein something else, Hussein Karanja. Anakaa hivyo. Wote ni hao tu, sisi ni watu wamoja. You know, sisi ni wale watu tuliamini Marcus Garvey. We will one day come together in this Africa. I hope you guys will try, younger people, to ensure that there is a reunification. Mtu akishinda si ni watoto wetu tu. They are just our young men and women. We just need to celebrate them. Sinania Mbappe sijui anaenda kwao kule kwa kijiji. Si anapeleka vitu, sijui nasikia sijui nani anajenga nini, yule Sadio Mane. Ni vijana wetu tu hawa. These are just our young people. Must celebrate them. With me, I support any African star, by the way. As long as you are doing well, mimi niko hapo na wewe. Hata kama unaitwa umevaa French flag. France iliposhinda World Cup. Ungekaona hiyo watu. Huyu anakaa Mluya, yule anakaa Mjaluo, yule anakaa Mkikuyu, yule anakaa, ni timu yetu. Yeah, they just exported us there at some point, wakatupa citizenship, na tunawapatia results under their name, but at heart we are one people. So now at the critical question of how, we are a highly organized party. Hata nyinyi mkipanda hapa mnaona wenyewe. This is not optics. This is real. We really believe in the quality of organization. You people have heard that we have been having grassroots elections for the last almost two years to try and institutionalize the party at the lowest level. So by the time we are done with the grassroots elections, which we are soon, we are left with only about 4 to 5 counties. We'll have 580,000 grassroots leaders across the country. Beyond that, the party has endeavored to create a leadership academy that builds on the party's faith. Tanzania wanaita itikadi. Sisi tuko hapa kwa misingi gani? Itikadi ya chama. Because parties are collections of people of like mind and a common ideology. And then we build the leadership of the party. So there is sustainability beyond just the re-election of President William Ruto. In fact, one of the greatest resources William Ruto will leave in terms of his legacy is not just the development legacy, but also the party legacy. We are very upbeat, very confident that this party will stand the turmoil. That's why some of us celebrate ODM. ODM is a party that has had 2 decades, long-lived, one of the longest living parties in Kenya. DP ilihama na Kibaki, PNU sijui ilihama na nani, Jubilee ndio hiyo imehama, sijui gani nyingine imehama, but he God willing, it will be there. The wheelbarrow is a good symbol of our quest for dignity. So we will remain focused, we will remain strong. And then even in terms of these victories where they are humbling. We sit in our little spaces and say, kumbe we are certain. Wametu embrace, wametusaidia, lead, not to show arrogance. And that's why those of us here are very firm about any arrogance, abuse of power. We believe in a system that is fair. Na lakini ya muhimu, this is a revolution, ndugu yangu. That transformation word you see there is actually a substitute for revolution. Hii kitu imepindua wale waliokuwa watukufu. Hospitali moja na wale walikuwa wakiwa because SHA imeattempt kuwalipia healthcare. Katika majumba mabaya tumechukua kodi yao kidogo. Hata Mungu anasema if you have more you give more. Ni dini. Wajua democracy is based on Judeo-Christian values. Ama mjui hivyo? That's the social foundations of the Bill of Rights. Sadaka, kodi, ili usaidie wale less fortunate in society. Sasa sisi tukikumenya kidogo ili wenzako waishi katika hali ya heshima, wewe unapiga kelele. Na hiyo Mungu ndo alisema, katiba ikaunga mkono. Katiba inasema you can address policies, laws of Article 43 of the Constitution. What is Article 43? Housing, water, healthcare, education. Imesema wale wenye kingi walipe kingi, wale hawana kitu wasilipe kitu, because kama una kitu utalipa nini? Lakini sasa wako 60 years they've done nothing. So as we've decided to try something different results. Since we've done it a different way and the results are evident. So there are definitely little challenges here and there. SHA serves 1.5 million people a day. $1.5 million people. Standard itatafuta mtu mmoja alikwenda SMS ikawa na delay kidogo ya approval. Watapiga mayowe kama babake alifanya kitu ya maana vile. Yes.
My name is Vicky from Jembe TV. Most Kenyans are blaming President Ruto for bringing Macron to Kenya. They are saying that.
Who are most Kenyans? Kwa social media. Bloggers ya Rigiji. Okay, most Rigiji bloggers are blaming Macron, Ruto for bringing Macron to Kenya.
And yet it was rejected in many countries. So they are demanding transparency.
Sasa when you are rejected in many countries, then how do 35 presidents show up? Ati yule atakikani, lakini kila akialika watu wanakwenda kwake. So how is that? That is not even common sense. 35 countries were represented at the highest level, and the others had representatives. Yule ameleta waziri yake ya mambo ya nje, yule ameleta nini, yule ameleta yule. We are saying the presidents. Kama wewe upendi mtu, utapeleka hata mwakilishi. So most Kenyans is in your mind. Most Kenyans are looking for progress. Kenya wanatafuta barabara ijengwe na Mfaransa, ijengwe na Muamerika, ijengwe na Mchina. Our policy, our strategy as a government is pragmatic. Pragmatism. Ukija na barabara sisi tunaichukua. Hata kama wewe tuliambiwa wewe kazeni yako ni shetani, tutajenga hiyo barabara alafu mambo ya shetani utadeal nayo na Mungu. Akili bwana. Kama mtu anakuletea capacity, watu wanaletea maendeleo, which most Kenyans. Kama itajenga shule, kama itajenga elimu, hiyo most Kenyans ni mtu na laptop yake. Kanafikiria aseme nini? Hakuna most Kenyans. Most Kenyans want a better life for their kids. Most Kenyans want a better future. Most Kenyans aspire for a better country. Yeah, that's what they do. Sasa bringing Emmanuel Macron is rejected by who? Captain Yaya Toure. Traore. Definitely, where there is exploitation, it must be remedied. Hata iko ingine hapa wanatumia mabavu kupata resources za Afrika. Ama hujui hivyo? Hata ma British unaona. Uliza, soma historia. Walitunyang'anya, wakaweka ma crown, wakaweka ma diamond yetu. Wakatunyang'anya, wakaweka watu wetu katika concentration camps, wakatutandika. Lakini sasa imefika point kama dada kuleta barabara tutachukua tu. So be pragmatic. Be the only interests that matter for us are Kenya's national interests, nothing else. Yes.
My name is Dikirr from TV. The Committee on Implementation of the 10-point agenda was given a 60-day extension in March, and the extension expired this week. So what next for some of the agendas?
I think their report is ready. They have visited various countries, including South Africa. They are yet to do a report that is that now firms up the overall recommendation in terms of moving forward. So I'll wait for their report. Some of their members had met some of us for a briefing. You know, it's a bipartisan process between two parties. Unajua Kalonzo anasema yeye support. No, we don't want him to support. It is between ODM and Gachagua'S. Na yeye hayumo hapo. Unaona? So we will see how to now implement the recommendations once they are submitted to the two party leaders, youth leader Power and President William Ruto. Then we see how to advance those commitments. But the coalition, despite sometimes having small areas of divergence, our coalition UDA ODM is strong. Yeah. Kuna moja pia nilikuwa nasema nataka niwaeleze. Niliona jana. Wajua nyinyi be a bit more research oriented. Wajua kitu moja siku hizi research yako yote iko kwa hii kakitu hii. Google, AI. Zamani, mimi I used to line up pale Kenya National Library and Kenya National Archives. Ukija kwangu kwa nyumba, nitakupatia photocopy za kina Dedan Kimathi, papers. Najua I never research about Muigai Kenyatta. I want to write a book before my time expires on this earth. Niwaeleze ile kitu alitufanyia. Kina Dedan Kimathi, badala kupatia yeye monument kubwa, tunapatia yeye kitu kama kanakaa kama nini pale Kimathi Avenue. My daughter asked me, who is this? I said, that's Dedan Kimathi. Why can't that doesn't look like him? So anyway, we will honor. So one day, so be centered on research. Emurua Dikirr, just to those who are naysayers, Emurua Dikirr, even with a flamboyant, maverick politician like Johanna Ngeno, the margins of victory in Emurua Dikirr were always in the region of 3,000 to 4,000. In fact, the last election I think was won by just a paltry 2,000 to 3,000. It is a very close election, usually in Emurua Dikirr. Yesterday's election, even on the strength of the turnout, registered the highest margin of victory since Emurua Dikirr became a constituency. Sasa lakini shida, kama nyinyi ni cult ya Rigiji, research is not your fallback. That was the biggest margin of victory ever. Even Johanna Ngeno, may his soul rest in peace, would win with narrow margins. Emurua Dikirr is a unique constituency. Yeah, it is not one of those constituencies where margins of victory are that huge. But this time, the margin was decisive. And that's why I came here smiling, thanking the people of Emurua Dikirr for such an extraordinary show of commitment to preserve the UDA and the broad-based government. And I am sure we'll be reaching out to Emurua Dikirr often with fulfillment of the work that Johanna Ngeno has through Keter Dollar Line to ensure that we actually deliver for the people of Emurua Dikirr. We have great respect and admiration. Their issues are legitimate, and we are confident that by the time we get into the next elections, we will have created a bigger sense of margin and a greater sense of movement in one direction. So I also wanted to clarify that, because I saw the guy said when he comes back from London, you know, the guy writes statements. Ukitaka kujua mtu ambaye ako na akili ya malkia, like a king, I have dispatched. Alafu wewe binadamu mzima uko na moja niliona juzi, niliona one of the bloggers wake alisema akishinda sisi tukishinda Emurua Dikirr atatoa gololi yake moja. Na naomba hiyo gololi kama ako nayo atoe. Sasa wewe mtu mzima, Waswahili wasema na vitu zako, unasema unakuwa dispatched. Wewe ni baba ya mtu unakuwa dispatched. Alafu unajiona wewe ni maumau. Wewe maumau unakuwa dispatched kweli. If Dedan Kimathi was to wake up today and see the people who call themselves maumau, that spirit is not there. I'm telling you, hiyo maumau, angalia history zetu na wengine kama sisi, utajua hiyo maumau iko wapi. And strategy is sometimes the capture of state apparatus. Unaingia katika state, unatoka from activism to functionary. Unaanza sasa kujipangia hapo. Wezi ukaona kwati mimi nilikuja nikaambiwa kuna jamaa anaitwa Orengo, rafiki yangu, is one of my mentors. Nikaambiwa jamaa na organize maandamano kubwa. Mimi nikaenda nikashikana naye nikiwa university student leader. Nikaorganize maandamano na yeye, nikamwacha hapo. Mimi nikaja kuorganize serikali, yeye bado anakwenda organize maandamano. Lazima utoke kutoka nursery, uende primary, uende high school, uende university. Sasa majenzi, mimi I support young radical people. By the way, mi nikiona mtu radical, I really love them because it reminds me of when I was in my 20s. Lakini sasa mimi ni 50. Sasa wananiuliza, I used to like this guy when he was a student leader. Sasa unataka mimi nibakie student leader, alafu wewe utakuja kuwa lini student leader? Nikufe kama student leader? You have to transition. It's revolutionary strategy. Yeah, kila una capture hapa moja, you either have a revolution or you have an evolution. You transform gradually. Sasa wewe unakaa umeorganize maandamano. That's why you sympathize with what kina Kaluma and others are saying. Kina Gladys Wanga, kina kama hata wao wamechoka hii maandamano, kama kuna mtu mwingine anaweza kuwasaidia, hawana shida, lakini wao wanataka kuwa wapi? Serikali. Na serikali inaleta barabara, kwani sisi tunatafuta nini? Tunatafuta heshima, tunatafuta maendeleo, tunatafuta ajira, tunatafuta hizo. That's what you have state for. And it is being delivered. Sasa mimi mtu anasema tunataka urudi maandamano. I appreciate Orengo akiwa anawatuta watu ambao we were where some of these people are 20 years ago. Mimi nilikuwa kwa hizi streets, maeneo haya, nikiorganize maandamano tuna block. I used to be a university student leader. Our main strategy was sabotage. Tunasema leo tuna bring down Nairobi. Hakuna mtu Nairobi itafanya kazi. Wengine wanazuia university way. Ndugu zetu wa Kikuyu campus wana block Kikuyu. Wale wa Thika wana block Thika. Tuna suffocate Nairobi. Ma middle class wanasema these boys are demonstrating nini. Lakini tume moyo na Twitter kwa meza. Tunasema haya tu negotiate. Nataka nini? Tunataka boom iongezwe, tunataka hii ifanywe, hii to ifanyike, inafanyika. It used to be called sabotage. It's part of the strategy of war. Sasa mna block mabarabara na hivi na hivi. Sasa tulifanya hizo. Wewe bado unataka mimi nikoe hapo. Sasa mimi niko na serikali, unaniuliza unataka nini? Unasema tutataka kama nyumba na nini? Naambia wacha asubuhi kesho tutaonana na William Ruto. Nitafanya. There are different ways of achieving the same thing. Sasa wewe bakia hapo na sisi tuendelee. Mimi niliingia tutaka heshima, tutaka vijana wapae ID, watu wetu wanapawa ID. Mauaji ya kiolela imeisha. Wajua during Matiang'i's time 386 young Muslims disappeared. During William Ruto's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 3.5, nobody has disappeared. Because tukisikia mtu ameshikwa tunauliza nani amemshika? Na tunajua yule alimshika. Akili ni nyele bwana. Usikwe na kuna wakati Raila aliniambia marehemu, kuna wakati ya nguvu na kuna wakati ya akili. Hii ni wakati ya akili. Ya nguvu ile constitutional framework tumepata, competitive electoral processes ziko, tumepata, we have entrenched ourselves, our first foot to kuchukua serikali. You consolidate, you build on it, you move on. Anyway, pia nasema mimi pia niwaelimishe kidogo. Wajua msifikirie mimi tatujui ile kitu tunafanya. Na mtashangaa. God willing. Na that's why I just have some love and respect for William Ruto. Ile maneno tulikuwa tunatafuta yote anafanya. Tunasema nikiwa human rights nasema watu wapewe nyumba. Watu wanapewa nyumba. Maji kuwe kwa mitaro ya watu inakuja. Heshima inadumu. Inclusivity of marginalized. Sisi ni marginalized hapa. Sisi tunaitwa wale, wajua tulikuwa mnatuitaje kwa misamiati, wale wachache na waliotengwa. Siku hizi tunajitafuta na tunakataa kutengwa na vitu kama hivyo. So what else do you fight for apart from the values that informed your discourse? Sisi tulimaliza wakati ya kifua. Sasa ni wakati ya akili. Kama Rigijia anataka kuwaregesha kwa kifua, sisi pia tunaweza toa kifua. Asante sana. Mungu awabariki. Unaniaga ama ni question? Mimi mwache tuache kwa vile ni mwanadada. Gender equality.
So is it that Kenya does not have the right facility to hold such summits?
Kagame haja complain. Unajua kama ingekuwa Kagame ameniuliza, umeona kwa mtandao? Aje hii mtandao. Ataweza kuwa labda amesimama tu anapiga story zake. Watu waseme ndio huyo. You know, Kenya has one of the most superior facilities. Kenya hii nchi, by the way, msidharau. You know, these Kenyan people must be congratulated. We built the region's biggest economy. Bila ya minerals, bila ya to create stability. Juzi kwa naambia ndugu zetu South Africans, ambao naona hizi mabarabara tumezijenga wenyewe, bila ya dhahabu, bila ya almasi, bila ya lolote. There is pride in being Kenyan. It's celebrate yourself a little more. I swear there is such negativity about our potential and where we are that only others who come. Kuna rafiki wamekuja kutoka South Africa, they were here in the office. It's their first time setting foot in Kenya. Namwambia unaona hii majengo, hii ni ya Afrika. These buildings here belong to Africans, these investments mostly. Ile yao ni ya mabua. Wajua unakuwa walikuja kutoka Netherlands, wanaitwa mabua. Wamechukua hiyo mali. Sijui the Oppenheimers. Nani mpaka leo uchumi wao umeshikiliwa na wazungu, rasilimali zao zimeshikiliwa na wazungu. So sisi hapa tumejikakamua, hatujafika, lakini Singapore is in sight. God willing. Asante sana.